All right, back again for another deep dive. And today we're thinking about, well, maybe even fantasizing about moving to Baja Mexico.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, so to help us out, we're going to be looking at the website of Rio Real Estate. They're a company that helps people, you know, actually make the move.
Okay, interesting.
Now, of course, full disclosure, we're only looking at this one website, just one perspective. You always want to do your own research, right?
Absolutely. Think of it like we're giving you a taste,
Yeah,
but you got to go out there and, explore the full menu.
I love that, the full menu. Okay, so this website, they really paint a pretty picture,
Yeah.
Azure seas, sun-kissed land,
Ooh la la.
right? Tranquil coasts.
Yeah, it's definitely playing into that idea of escape.
Mm,
A lot of real estate marketing does that sort of thing. It
Yeah.
kind of taps into our, I think, natural desire to just get away from it all.
to reinvent ourselves.
Exactly. So while Baja is beautiful, gorgeous, no doubt, it's important to just be aware,
Yeah.
that there's a bit of salesmanship going on.
All right, so let's get down to it. Why move to Baja? At least according to Rio Real Estate.
Okay.
Well, they give a bunch of reasons. Okay, I'm ready. Endless sunshine, amazing beaches, lively expat community. Oh, and a lower cost of living.
Always a big one.
Right. And get this. They say you can have both adventure and relaxation.
Trying to have it all.
Are they having their cake and eating it too?
Well, I mean, they're definitely trying to appeal to lots of different people, different motivations. So it's not just about, margaritas on the beach all day long.
Right, which, I mean, some people might be into that.
Yeah, of course. But it's more about, figuring out what you want. Like, what are your priorities if you were thinking about making a move? What really speaks to you about what they're laying out?
Yeah, that's a great question for our listeners. Okay, so Rio Real Estate, they don't just tell you why to move, they also talk about how they can help you actually get there. They mention visa guidance, they talk about property searches, connecting you with local resources, even advice on healthcare and banking.
Wow, so they're pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, so
Especially if you're, completely new to Mexico, never been there before. These support systems are really crucial.
yeah, you need that.
But I would say it's always smart to not just rely on, one company,
Right.
even if they are offering all these services.
So what are you saying, like, get a second opinion?
Exactly.
Right.
Maybe even a third, especially when it comes to legal stuff,
Right.
finances. Don't just take one source at face value, Think about it. Their main goal is to, sell real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sense. Okay, another thing that I thought was interesting, the name, Rio Real Estate.
Mm,
They kind of play that up, right?
Right.
And they even sprinkle some Spanish phrases throughout the website.
Oh, I like that.
It's subtle, but it definitely, adds to the whole vibe.
Yeah.
It's like you're not just moving to a beach, you're moving to Mexico.
Right, like that cultural immersion.
Exactly.
And, that actually brings up a good point. Even learning a little bit of Spanish
Yeah.
can make a huge difference.
Oh, totally. Like, even just the basics.
Get basics, yeah.
Ah,
Imagine being able to actually talk to people,
right.
navigate everyday life. It's like you'd feel so much more connected.
Not just a tourist, right?
Exactly. Part of the community.
Okay, so speaking of playing up that cultural angle, they have these, get this, poems on the website.
Poems?
Yep, both titled Journey to Baja, a Rio Real Estate Invitation.
Okay.
There's one in Spanish and one in English, but they're both, very romantic.
So they're not just selling properties. They're selling a whole story.
A fantasy, almost.
Yeah. And they use such evocative language like whispers of adventure, sun-kissed land.
Magic awaits.
Ooh.
Right. It's like they're saying, come discover a hidden gem.
Exactly.
And then they talk about the ocean's lullaby, serenading the muse, and leaving the rush behind to find peace in the wave.
Yeah, you could practically hear the ocean.
Right. Who wouldn't be tempted by that?
It's very powerful stuff.
Yeah.
But, and I know I sound like a broken record here, it's so important to balance this romantic vision with a bit of reality.
Right.
Because moving to another country, even one as appealing as Baja,
Yeah.
it comes with its own set of challenges, right?
Sure.
Think about the healthcare system, local laws and customs, homesickness even.
Yeah, you don't want to forget about that.
These are all things to consider.
So as much as we're letting real estate sweep us off our feet with their poetic descriptions, we gotta remember to do our research right.
Absolutely. Don't just jump in head first.
Think of it this way. This website is like the appetizer.
Okay.
It gets you excited. What's your appetite? But you need the full meal.
Right.
You need more substance, more information to make a really good decision.
So we've established that, making a move like this takes more than just falling in love with a website.
But I mean, they do make Baja sound pretty amazing.
Right.
Stunning landscapes, the people, the potential for a lower cost of living.
Yeah, it's easy to see why people are drawn to it.
It's tempting, right?
Very tempting. But the real question is, does it fit your values, your goals? That's where the real exploration begins.
I like that. So listeners, what about you? What would your next steps be if you were thinking about Baja? Or anywhere new, for that matter?
What questions would you be asking? That's the big question, right?
Mm.
Like, if I was thinking about moving somewhere new, I want to figure out what parts of that culture really matter to me.
Yeah.
Would it be, I don't know, the language? Like really learning the language? Or maybe the food? The local cuisine?
Yeah.
Or even just connecting with people from different backgrounds, understanding the history, the traditions of the place.
It's fascinating to think about because it's so much more than just like the place itself.
Right.
It's a whole different way of life.
Yeah. It's like it can push you out of your comfort zone.
Totally.
Help you grow as a person.
And this Rio Real Estate website, it's beautiful, it's inspiring, but
Yeah.
they don't really talk about the potential downsides.
Right. It's all sunshine and roses.
So what are some of those less glamorous aspects that people should be aware of?
Well, they do mention a lower cost of living, which can be true, but it really depends on where in Baja you're thinking about.
Right.
And your lifestyle, of course.
Right. Yeah.
Some areas, especially the ones that are really popular with expats,
Yeah.
the cost of living has actually gone up quite a bit in recent years.
So you really have to do your research.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing to think about is healthcare.
Oh, okay.
Mexico does have a public healthcare system,
Yeah.
but it might not be what you're used to.
Right.
So a lot of expats end up getting private health insurance,
Okay.
which, that's an extra cost.
You don't want to forget about that.
No, definitely not. And then there are the cultural differences.
Right.
Now, Baja is known for being very welcoming, but there's always an adjustment period.
Yeah.
Think about things like communication styles, the pace of life,
Yeah.
even just doing everyday things in a different language.
Right.
It takes time to get used to.
So being open-minded.
Yeah.
Adaptable.
Absolutely.
Don't expect things to be exactly like back home.
It's all part of the adventure.
I like that. All right. Going back to the Rio Real Estate website for a sec.
Okay.
They talk a lot about the expat community, which, it's great to have that support network.
For sure.
People who understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
But it's also important to connect with the local community.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up.
You can't just stay in the expat bubble.
Exactly. Make an effort to get to know people who live there year-round.
Right, right.
Learn some Spanish, go to local events.
Yeah.
Just be open to new experiences.
It's about finding that balance, right? Between the familiar and the new and exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Rio Real Estate, they give us a glimpse into Baja living. But like we said before, it's important to dig deeper.
Do your own research.
Yeah. Talk to people, get different perspectives. It's a big decision.
A life-changing decision.
Exactly. And remember, everyone's experience is going to be different. What works for one person might not work for another.
Right. No one size fits all.
There's no magic formula for relocating to a new country.
It's all about personal preferences, expectations, how much effort you're willing to put in.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to that question we asked before. What are your priorities? What are you looking for?
Yeah, it's not just about falling in love with a place based on website.
Right.
It's about finding a place that really fit your values, your lifestyle, your vision for the future.
Exactly.
So thinking about moving to another country, especially one like Mexico with such a rich culture, it sounds like it really comes down to figuring out what you want.
It really does. And that process of figuring it out can actually lead to some really cool discoveries, not just about the place, but about yourself.
Right. Like, what are you willing to embrace?
Exactly. What are your non-negotiables? What are you absolutely not willing to compromise on?
Yeah.
That kind of self-reflection.
Yeah.
It's so valuable, whether you end up moving or not.
It's like that saying, right? It's about the journey, not the destination.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny. Those poems on the Rio Real Estate website, they talk about journeying to the heart of Baja and like discovering a new rhythm within yourself.
Yeah.
It's obviously marketing, but there's some truth to it.
Oh, for sure. moving to a new place, a place as different as Baja, it can definitely push you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Make you adapt, make you grow.
It can be a real catalyst for personal growth.
And that's something people might not think about when they're planning a move.
Right. It's not just about finding a new house or a new beach.
Yeah.
It's about maybe even discovering a new side of yourself.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a powerful thought.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive into Baja living, I want to leave our listeners with this. If you were to move to another country, what aspects of cultural immersion would be most important to you? What would you be most excited to learn and experience?
What a great question. And, it doesn't have to be hypothetical.
Yeah.
Even if you're not planning a move right now, exploring different cultures, even just from afar,
Yeah.
it can really open up your mind and
Yeah.
enrich your life. So keep that curiosity alive, keep exploring, keep learning.
That's beautifully said. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And until next time, keep those adventure spirits soaring.
Go up here?